now. Okay, we are recording.
And I'll be recording from my phone on my end, but I'm figuring the audio will be better, so it'll be good to have that file too.
Awesome.
And yeah, so the games I watched for you guys this week were games against the IL Cougars and the CPB Wolves. And Coach, I'll start out with a question for you. Something I noticed was just, there's kind of a stereotype around AAU ball. There's a lot of ISOs, a lot of over dribbling, stuff like that. You guys kind of stuck out to me as a team with a lot of passing, a lot of cutting. Like there were a ton of back doors. Is that something you kind of pride yourselves on as a team, and you try and instill in them as like a lot of ball movement and cutting?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Before I was the coach of this team, it was kind of put together by, some of the kids and some of the dads, and they were just entering like 1-day shootouts, and they were just, you know, running around, having no plays and no structure. And I think, me being a part of this program now, I was able to implement an offense. Here with our program at PAC Elite, we make sure that we're not doing any ISO ball, no one-on-one. We play as a team collectively, and everybody on the team, we don't really care who has the most points, who's got the most assists, who's got the most rebounds. It's really all about the end goal, which is getting the W. So every kid on this team is willing to give up a little bit of themselves to put for the main purpose, which is to get the W. And as a result, you saw it. I mean, we were blowing the first 4 games that we played over the weekend. We blew these teams out by 20 plus points, and they were getting frustrated because we were sitting in our 2-3 zone and they were taking terrible low percentage shots, and we were just transitioning really well and taking high percentage shots and not forcing anything. So you're right. AAU is typically, you see a lot of it on like Ball is Life or Baller TV or whatever the case may be. It's just one-on-one ISO ball highlights. But, here at PAC Elite, we're just focused on getting the end goal, which is, getting the W. And we're a really structured team in that sense. And, we have a lot of designated plays. We have a lot of structural plays and, plays specifically for certain players and things like that. So we just try to, do everything we can to keep that structure and, get the W. That's really what the end goal is for us.
And then Nick, along the same lines for you, like as a player, is it kind of more fun being a part of a team like this where it is very much not like structured to the point where there's no freedom as a basketball player, but like it is very organized. You're not just going out there messing around. You guys look very organized and together, knowing what you need to do to win.
Yeah, it's definitely more fun playing this way because everybody on the team is unselfish. So we're all willing to give up a little bit for the team, like Coach said. And the way we play, it might not always be like the most exciting to watch or whatever, like Showtime AAU is, but it always gets the job done, and we're still able to, enjoy it and play fast paced sort of. And it's not too structured to the point where Coach doesn't let us take some shots or make some mistakes or play through stuff. So I do like the way we play. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, although you might be selling yourself short there at the excitement, because one thing I would ask you about is that game against the Cougars, I believe. First play, your center taps it forward, it goes straight to you about a second in, you fire off a 3 and made it. And
Yeah.
is that just kind of like you feel like you have the green light as a shooter, like that whenever it's open, you're going to take it, and you kind of appreciate having the freedom to do that, and you're confident enough to be able to make those shots?
Yeah, I'm definitely more confident to take those shots, and Coach does give us a lot of freedom to shoot when we have a good look. We have a lot of good shooters on this team, and we do play a faster pace. So if we get a good shot early, we're definitely not afraid to take it. And everybody on the team has the confidence in the green light to shoot a good open look.
And then, Coach, similarly for you on that play and in the other game I was able to catch for you guys, I saw your center tap it forward both times. Is that something like you kind of like a philosophy, just like wanting to tap forward and try and attack right away, get that instant advantage that you guys
Yeah,
try?
absolutely. We try to like get a quick jump on these teams, like an 8 to 10 point lead, only because they're going to be playing catch up the entire time, and we're just going to keep pounding away at them. Usually, like I said, like Nick's captain of this team, he's starting shooting guard, and Nick's not afraid to shoot when he has the green light, and he's not taking shots that are forced or shots that are double teamed or shots that are low percentage. He's taking it in rhythm when he's wide open. We run a play very structured. We have our center in the middle. His name's RJ from Grant. We run a 41, which basically means we got 4 guys in the outside, 1 in the middle. So that ball goes right in the middle, guys collapse, and that's why we have those opportunities to get those back doors and guys get caught on that. And it's kind of like a heat check in the sense we have a lot of plays designated for shooting. Most of our structured plays are centered around the end goal, getting a 3-point shot. So I know for Nick, he does that a lot, and it's kind of like a heat check. He gets it, shoots it, and then right off the bat, teams see that in his distance and how he can shoot, and it's just like, oh gosh, they know they're in for a long day. So
Yeah, and just really quick, you mentioned RJ there, I believe. What number is he? Just want to make sure I have that down.
Nick, what number is RJ again?
He is number 11.
Number 11. Yeah.
Yeah, I
He's
remember.
the guy in the middle. Yeah.
I remember him. Yes.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that 2-3 zone, how you sit back and like teams will take bad shots. Personally, I did a lot of the same things when I played too, so I'm very much aware of that. But like one thing I would ask you as a coach personally is like some coaches or some people don't like it when they say teams just sit back in zone because they think it's like training bad defensive principles for players going forward. When, you know, as you keep moving up the ranks, it gets a little bit harder, players get a little better, teams are better at passing and dissecting that. So how do you try and coach that zone so it is different from just sitting back and letting the other team do that stuff, and like they're still learning good defensive principles that'll help them moving forward?
Right. We do typically, we don't really go into man-to-man. You're right. We like to sit in that 2-3 zone. One of the biggest reasons why we utilize that zone is we got a lot of length on this team. We got a lot of guys that can, when we're in the 2-3 zone, we cover a lot of ground. We cover a lot of space. So when we sit in that 2-3 zone, we don't really consider it as just sitting there. It's more of like a matchup. We play it more like a matchup zone in that sense. What I like to do as well is that sometimes we sit back, but if you're watching some of the games over the weekend, what we like to do as well is we got two guys at the top. One of those two is pressuring someone, and whichever way that goes, the other guy goes opposite. So we try to put as much pressure to make it difficult for them to dribble the ball up the court. And then once they're in there, then we are in that 2-3 zone, but it's more of a matchup. It's a lot of communication. A lot of teams don't really run zone against us either. Majority of our plays are designated for man-to-man. We have a couple if teams do run a zone, but we're too good and too willing of a good passing team, as you know. If they're going to sit in the zone and we're going to move the ball and make the defense shift, it's just going to be a bad day for them, because if we're on shooting, they're just better, they better pray, because it's not going to be a good day for them. But we're trying to mix it up. I know moving on, for this rest of this session, of the summer session, we're going to try to implement some more zones, because, zones just work. I mean, with a good team like us that know the rotation and everything like that, a lot of these teams aren't disciplined enough. They don't know how to stay in that how to really work a 2-3 zone and how to utilize them and deny the high-low and things like that. So a lot of these teams run man, because they want to put pressure on us, but we got too many designated plays and too much structure, and we run them right off. So,
yeah, trust me, I very much took note of when the one team switched to zone against you guys. You put RJ number 11 in the middle, kind of picked them apart from there. It had a lot of notes written down about that. Nick, and then for you about that defense, again, is that something that you guys kind of pride yourselves on as players, that it seemed like you guys are a little more organized out there, very, like your coach said, a lot of communication. You're very aware, pretty much all of you, what's going on. It's not like some of the games I saw where your opponents were just forgetting guys as they ran to the hoop. You guys take a lot of pride in that, even if it's just quote unquote an AAU game, not getting scored on easily.
Yeah, we for sure we pride ourselves a lot in defense, and I think big reason that we do that is because our defense, we know the rotation's so good, and when we get the rebound, we already know where our outlet's going to be, and usually in the first 5 minutes of the game, we'll jump out to a 15-point, 10-point lead, because somebody will get a rebound and the outlet will be there, and then we'll just pass it right up the court for an easy layup, and teams just aren't ready for it. But because we know the zone, we're able to kind of transition from there and jump on these teams who don't expect it.
And yeah, a constant theme of bringing up here is the energy of you guys as a team. One thing I noticed that in those games, your coach himself has seemed like a pretty energetic coach, had his hands up a lot, very vocal. You guys kind of know that you have what do you think about having a coach who's a little more vocal than maybe a little more hands up than other coaches are?
I'm a fan of it. I like how coach gets hyped. When he's energetic and he brings energy, it feeds off on the players, and we bring the energy to the court and play better. And I think with some coaches, when they're kind of laid back, it rubs off on the players and they're kind of laid back. But when Coach Mike is jumping up and he's screaming like he does, we definitely do play harder and we're more intense, for sure.
No, definitely. Again, my high school coach is the same way. Very much appreciate that. Coach, and then for you, do you think I'm sure you as a coach would try to instill some of the same things no matter what players you were coaching, but do you think part of your team's success was like, I mean, I haven't got to see too much of you guys, but this past weekend looked really good. And you think like you have a special group of guys where you can do some things that are maybe a little different than what a usual AAU team does, and you have the success because you have this specific group of guys.
Yeah, I think it helps that, Nick and Griffin, who's another player on our team. Which number is Griffin, Nick?
13.
13. So
Mhm.
I've coached those two since fifth grade. And they play at Wakanda High School. I played at Wakanda High School. I've lived in Wakanda my entire life. And like getting to get the opportunity to coach those two guys and see them develop from fifth grade till now, they know me as a coach. They know my tendencies. They know what I expect from them as a player. So I think I do have a special bond. And a lot of the kids on the team are from teams in the conference too. Like we got RJ from Grant, two kids from Wakanda, one kid from Carmel, one kid from Lake Forest. So we have a lot of kids that are within the same area that we are. So it's nice that we can all come together, form this great AAU team, and just pick teams apart and destroy them. But as a player, I was always a high energy player. I always had energy. I was screaming and ones. I was slapping the ground on defense. Like I was that type of player. So I like to train when I transition that, as a coach, I think Nick hit it on the head, feed off the energy. Even, I usually coach younger levels, but being able to coach the 17U team, even the energy and the intensity that I show with them, if I'm talking, they're talking. If I'm screaming, they're screaming. So they do a very good job of like feeding off of my energy, and they do a great job of just understanding, obviously our point guard's not here at the moment, but I call a play. The kids are so structured to the point where they get there and they execute, whether it be an out of bounds play, offense, defense, sideline out of bounds play, whatever the case may be. Like they just do a really good job of, executing when it comes down to it. So I find myself on all that with, my energy and intensity, and it just feeds off on them. So I'm glad that, I can help them in that sense when they're on the court.
Yeah, and as far as like the player's own development goes, like if you had as a coach had to say what skill that you want them to like develop the most, like for their best success going forward, is it like overall like sometimes it's ball handling, sometimes just having a team full of a lot of great shooters that like you said that the defensive abilities, or is it maybe like something overall like just feel for the game, understanding which read comes after which, being able to process stuff, learn from mistakes, and then kind of fix that going forward?
Yeah, Daniel, I don't think it's anything physical. I don't think it's like, oh, like after this season, I want you to always remember shooting or rebound. It's more of a mental thing. I try to tell these kids a lot that, you're 17 years old, like this AAU and this time you guys are having together, it's something that's going to go with you your entire life. I know with me, like when I was playing AAU, I'm still in contact with guys that I played with AAU with. We still talk, we still play in men's leagues together. So one of the big things I want them to take away from this is not necessarily that much of basketball. It's more of, these things that we're teaching you and these things that they're learning is going to transition them into life. When you win on the basketball court and you learn things like chemistry, leadership, so many great qualities that will transition you into the real world after basketball. So I think that's just what I wanted to install in them, and winning is a big product of that. If we win, they know what it feels like to win, and they're going to win in life. That's just how it works. Like when I was a player, I think that I didn't win a lot. And because I didn't win a lot, it made me a better coach because I know what I had to do to try to win in those games. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything to take away from the physical aspect of the game. It's more the mental aspect of the game, more the emotional aspect of the game, I would say.
Yeah, and then Nick, for you, you guys have been talking about like first of all how you guys like to jump out on teams, those quick starts, and your coach just talked about all the important mental aspects of the game. Is that something like, especially in those two games I was able to catch you guys this past weekend against the Wolves and the Cougars, where you guys kind of like jumped out ahead? Could you like see in the other team that maybe mentally they were breaking a little bit, that like they were just frustrated, they didn't feel like they had much of a chance against you guys, it was just not fun to play against you? I also know the one kid I think threw a punch at someone on your team. Not exactly sure. There was an altercation, but like, is that kind of something in game time that you kind of recognize, like, oh, this team doesn't want anything to do with us?
Yeah, we can definitely see that. The first few minutes of the game and before the game, we're not the most intimidating, big-looking team. So usually they're going to think it's not going to be a difficult game. But when we go out there and play the way we play, you can tell very quickly that they didn't see it coming and they're down 15 points, 20 points, and they don't know what to do. And yeah, like they get frustrated. Like, yeah, that kid did throw an elbow. It was actually a me.
Yeah.
threw an elbow at me in the face, and he got ejected like that. And the first game, they got frustrated. Their coach was getting mad at them. They were going on the bench, throwing stuff. So you can definitely tell that a few minutes into the game, they know they're doomed.
How enjoyable like that is that just for you, like seeing that, like, it sounds weird, but it's like to kind of see that, man, these, like, I'm in these guys' heads as a player. Like, my team is just, we have the complete edge over them right now.
Yeah, it is. It feels good, but on the other hand, Coach Mike always keeps us, humble on the fact that they could turn it around and be one of those resilient teams. So we got to keep playing. So we never let it get to us on the point that we don't feel like we need to try anymore, that we're already in their heads and the game's over. He wants us to play hard um, the whole game and never stop and put it on them as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. And this is just this is like a question just I wanted to check because you mentioned like, what would you say is about the average height for your team? Because you said you guys didn't think you were the biggest team. Like, I don't know, Coach or Nick, if you guys have like a guess, like around average height for your team.
6'2",
Like 6'1".
Like 6'1" to 6'3" range.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay, 6'1" to 6'3" range we'll go with. Yeah, and then like kind of wrapping up here, like, did you guys think that how you played it this past weekend was a success, like, overall? This is gonna be for both of you.
Yeah. I think it was pretty successful because our last tournament we did not play well. So this was a bounce back tournament for us, and it was a good showcase tournament. So we definitely, you know, we made our presence known. Let's just say that we blew out teams by 20, 30, 40 points. We were one win away from playing Mean Street. We're one of the best teams in the entire state and like top 5 in the country. So yeah, we were one win away. We would have played them, but we exerted a lot of our energy in that last game. And, we felt that, our guys got into foul trouble and, we didn't rebound well. And, we ended up losing that game. But I think if we would have had, our 6'5" guys in and not in foul trouble and our starting point guard didn't get injured, I think we would have easily won that game. I mean, I don't know what would have happened to Mean Streets. It would have been really tough. I mean, but, we would have just played hard and got, been humbled for the opportunity to play a team like that. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a success, but I still would have loved to win one more game and beat that GFC team. But there was a lot against us. Our two big men fouled out. Our point guard got injured, so it was a tough game to win, and it wasn't everything was against us. But I still think as a whole it was a success.
All right. Well, I think that is about all the questions I had for you guys. Yeah, and thank you so much for doing this with me. It's a huge help. And like I said, it was really fun getting to watch you guys play. You guys played some great basketball out there. Enjoyed all of it. We'll have some fun writing about it later tonight. And yeah, thanks for listening, Coach. If you could just send me the whole file of this so I have the recording, just because in case I have it with my phone or this is better audio, whatever it is. But
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I know you follow the Facebook page. We got the Instagram page going, and we got this week. We're at Waukegan Fieldhouse for a one-day shootout, and then we have another tournament the following week, and then we got the whole summer season. So if you need our schedule, you want to come watch games, and you want to be a part of PAC Elite, just let us know, and we'll get you involved in that. And then when you're done with when you're done writing that, me and Nick would love to read it if you don't mind.
All right, all sounds good. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I'll see you later.
Thank you, Dan.
No problem.
Appreciate
Thank
it, man.
you.
Right.
See you.